Welcome back to another episode of Light Beer, Dark Money. I'm Sean Noble, and we do not have Chris here today, but I am always honored to have my wife, Alyssa Scannell, here.
Hi, thanks for having me.
I thought you were going to do the intro.
Not
One
yet.
of these days, you need to do it. You keep saying you can do it as well as I can, and you can definitely do it better than I can today because my voice is a little bit weird.
Maybe next time.
That's what you said last time.
I know.
That's what you said last time. So what are we talking about today?
Well, I did come equipped with one topic. Do you want me to launch right into it? Like,
yep.
Apropos of nothing. I always get a little stressed out saying the word apropos because do you know my story about this?
I think I remember
I didn't
this.
actually, I'd never said it out loud or like figured out that the word I was reading was the word apropos. So whenever I read it in books or in articles, in my mind, I said apropos.
Apropos?
And then one day I figured out it was actually, oh yeah, that's the word, apropos. So apropos of nothing, I did have something I wanted to talk about. I have no idea if this will be interesting to you, so you can cut me off if it's not.
Okay.
I follow on Instagram a satirical page that basically takes all of the silly advice that you get from pseudo psychologists on Instagram. You know, the self-help industry is thriving on Instagram and much of it makes zero sense. So this hysterical page, it's called Power of Self-Care. They put these memes up there, these little sayings, something like your superior emotional intelligence means your feelings are more correct. Or, and when you're like scrolling through, you're kind of like, huh? And then you kind of occasionally see people in the comments that like take it literally, which is always, occasionally I've seen it. Or fortify your bubble until you're never challenged. I don't know who needs to hear this. I think this is one that people would take literally for sure. I don't know who needs to hear this, but the best thing you can do for others is pamper yourself. And I actually think that message, the self-care isn't selfish, which I do actually think is true. But the message that first, like you put your oxygen mask on first in life, self-care is the thing that you can do that's the best for your children. And it's kind of like, all right, I love me some self-care. I work out every day. I get massages regularly. Like I do not shy away from self-care. I also do not think that Reagan and Vincent are like, I'm so glad mommy's getting a massage today. Like it really makes her a better mommy. No, it doesn't. I do think that it like all in all contributes to keeping me like feeling good, but I don't think that it's the number one thing that I can do for my family. So anyways,
Are you getting a buzz in your head?
I am getting a buzz. I can take this one off. Yeah, all right. I just took it off. It's fine. So they posted a series of stories today that I wanted to talk about because I actually think this is a bigger problem in society that nobody really talks about yet. And they posted the first slide was, I've been really enjoying a genre of internet comics I like to call, quote, I hate my husband and kids. And then they post a series of memes and Instagram posts from other places that are basically women talking about how much their kids and their husbands suck. And this is, I think, well, you laugh, but you see it all the time,
No,
right?
it's
Or
true.
is that just
Yeah.
something that's served up to me? So, things children are sure to ruin, meals in general, white couches, vacations, a good night's sleep, anything about which you say, this will be fun, their parents' bodies, and just a bunch of different ones that whoever runs this account has collected. They have a picture of a guy, I don't know if you can see it, a picture of a guy with a tool belt on, and it's weaponized incompetence tactical belt. And it's him saying things like, it's easier for everyone if you just do it. It will take me so much longer. I've never done it before. I don't know where it goes, etc. So anyways, and then it ends with, imagine you get into an argument with your spouse and you think it's solved. Then they go into the other room and lock the door. You're like, honey, what are you doing in there? Nothing. Are you drawing me with no face, forgetting to unload the dishwasher with the word idiot over my head and posting it for thousands of people to see? Maybe. So anyways, I actually thought that this was really interesting, and I'm certain I have reposted things like that before, but it did get me thinking about how this trend could actually have like serious negative consequences on society, because I know, for instance, some of those that I've seen, I've ended up mad at you for something that you hadn't done right then. It was just like, son of a gun, Sean does do that. And then, you end up resentful. And I think like it's kind of funny, and I'm laughing about it now and you're laughing, but I do think that this could be harmful to people over time, because you are getting mad about things that aren't happening in the moment. You're building up this resentment, this idea that your spouse is incompetent or useless or is doing it on purpose. And just the idea that you should be unhappy even if you're not already right now.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a really interesting point, because, I mean, how often do, like, you have a dream and I did something wrong in the dream, or you did something wrong and I have a dream, and it's like, I'm angry, and it's like, it's a freaking dream. It's not even real.
Yeah.
And so there's the fictionalized stuff, but there's also the stuff that could be real, but it's pretty it's not every single day, but you get reminded of it, and then you get mad all over again. Mm-hmm. And that strains a relationship.
Yes. I think it builds up strain in a relationship that otherwise would dissipate naturally. Like, yeah, it does take men longer to poop, and it's really irritating. And I don't get it at all medically or otherwise, but it's not something that I would build up resentment about over time. And I think another potentially dangerous thing about this trend is a lot of times when you see things, especially about what kids will do to a mother or person with ovaries body. I'm just kidding.
Give me a break.
I call them mothers. I'm just kidding. I call them mothers. But what they do to a person's body, you will see comments that say, this is exactly why I'm not having kids.
Right.
And I think that the social media temptation to play the martyr probably scares a fair number of people away from having kids, because it objectively looks terrible the way that it's portrayed. And also, like, the thing to keep in mind that's just a little bit irritating is the same people that are constantly posting this are also, on the 4th of July, whatever, will post their beautiful curated family photo with my world.
Right.
And so it's like, obviously they don't really mean all these terrible things about their kids. Right.
But people only latch onto the bad things.
Yeah.
And
kids are hard.
Sure. But there's nothing that gives you more joy or more satisfaction or more fullness in life, in my experience, than having kids.
Really? Says the man with 7 kids. Of course you think that.
And if I didn't think that, I'd be crazy.
Right. I don't think it's impossible to have joy or satisfaction. I just don't like the idea that you scare people out of having kids. Right. I think there are plenty of reasons to not have kids. If you don't want to have kids, you can stand by that decision proudly. But not doing it because it might wreck your body or your dinners, which it can.
We have had plenty of dinners. Totally freaking wrecked.
Yeah. Yeah.
Last night.
Most. Yeah.
Almost all dinners. It's rare
dinners.
that we all sit down and eat the same thing at the same time.
Right.
Has that ever happened?
I don't know. I don't want to think about it. I certainly don't want to memorialize that into an Instagram post. But yeah, I mean, kids are challenging, but I think there's also a trend on social media that nobody talks about X. Nobody talks about how hard breastfeeding is or how terrible toddlers are or how hard it is to come back postpartum as far as all the changes to your bodies. And it's like, actually, that's all people talk about now.
Right.
We have definitely normalized complaining about things. But it's the vulnerability porn. Everybody wants to go viral, like Rachel Hollis did, posting some cellulite. Like you're just one picture of stretch marks away from like making it big.
Right.
But anyways, I just wanted to talk about that trend because I do like it. Just to me, I had never really thought through the dangers of constantly complaining, even in the name of I'm just normalizing this. I'm just being real. I'm just being vulnerable. That it could have some negative consequences.
Some actual consequences, not just, oh, that's interesting or that's funny or that's sad, but actually people starting to adjust their behavior based on what they see on social media.
And I'm actually very hesitant to say this. I feel like I might regret it one day, but I actually, in 2020, sort of the peak, I was thinking about leaving you. I'm just kidding. I felt like that was like a weird buildup. So no, I was not. But so 2020,
I could totally understand if you would.
You're like, oh yeah. 2020, the peak racial tension in this country, the social justice movement, like there was a lot going on in 2020, right? And it was peak white men are evil. White men are, I feel like I saw some people, not necessarily people I know well, but acquaintances that were very, very progressive women that ended up getting divorced that year. And in the back of my mind, I kind of had the same idea. Like, is it this outward push on social media to say that white men are bad that was making some people leave their white husbands?
Interesting.
And again, it's not anybody I know well enough to say for sure, but it did make me think. I did see a lot of divorces, and again, I feel like I might regret saying this one day, but
why would you regret it? I mean, there was a lot of divorces.
Yeah, and there could be a million.
It was the pandemic. It was. I mean, there's a lot of things that were going on.
Yeah,
that was a crazy.
But
time.
I feel like if every time you open social media, you hear like the insidious nature of the white man, and you're looking across your bedroom at this white man, you're eventually just gonna be like, I'm out.
Yeah. Well, that's really interesting. So
and it might be completely wrong,
but maybe it's not. And guess what? If it's right once, then it was bad. If somebody literally left their husband,
and this is why I could never leave Sean, because he will always make me feel like I'm right. Even if you're 99% wrong, Alyssa,
you could be right.
You were right in that 0.1%, and that's amazing.
And I love you for it.
Yeah. Like the ultimate hype man.
Yeah. Well, whatever it takes to keep you with me.
Got to keep me off social media.
Yeah, I guess so. Out of the gym. All those hot men. No, I don't know.
Just saying stuff?
Just saying stuff.
All right.
So I did have something to follow up with you on that. And you got me off track because you're so wonderfully distracted.
Well, we can come back to it if you can.
Yeah, I guess we can. But it was kind of the natural progression of our conversation, which is why it's frustrating that I've forgotten what it was. Well, all right. I guess we'll have to come back to it.
The only other thing we talked about discussing, I can't even bring up because I have no idea. All of a sudden, I've just seen a bunch of people talk about Threads.
Threads. Yes. So last night, or yesterday, so it is July 6th. And today was supposed to be the day that Threads came out. And then Zuckerberg decided that he was going to launch it early. There was a few people, probably the ultra influencer types, that had it a couple days before. But yesterday was the launch, and within the first hour, 2 hours, I don't know, 5 million people had signed up, and then it doubled within the next, couple of hours after that. I happened to be, I don't know, in the first few hours of it. It seems to, I don't know what it's going to be like. It's supposed to be they've been calling it the Twitter killer.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's really going to be the case. I mean, I won't get off of Twitter as a result of Threads at this point because I have more engagement. I mean, I have more people following me, and I follow more people on Twitter than I do on
Right.
Instagram.
Are they assuming that a lot of the people that have big followings on Twitter have bigger followings on Instagram? That doesn't necessarily seem
Well,
like it
some
would be.
might, but I would bet that, well, I guess I have no idea. I think if you're a political person, you definitely have more people on Twitter than you do on Instagram.
Yeah, I think the only people that it would really benefit are the people that have huge Instagrams,
Right.
but they wouldn't necessarily be big Twitter people anyways.
Right.
I have no idea.
Yeah. I mean,
I only go on Twitter when I get really mad about something or that you tell me about, or if there's like smoke in the distance, I'll be like, smoke near Camelback Mountain. That's it.
well, because Twitter tends to be more immediate newsy than Instagram or Facebook. So I don't know. I really don't know how Threads is going to, I mean, to me, it feels Instagram-y, not Twitter-y, but I've only been on it for literally a minute.
Do you connect to it through Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
And, all my Instagram, I just push the button, like all the people I follow on Instagram, I now follow on Threads, if they have a Threads.
See, that actually is a negative to me. I love a new social media platform. I don't love a new social media platform, but occasionally I really like starting a new account somewhere. All my social media accounts are curated for like different parts of my personality. So Twitter, I don't look at because I followed when I was still working in politics. I mean, when I like open Twitter, I'm like 3 tweets in, like I cannot, this part of my personality, like
Died a
good
long time ago.
riddance.
It's burned up in the dumpster fire.
Yeah. And then Facebook is more longtime acquaintances, family. Instagram for me became more like celebrity, fashion, and then like weightlifting. And then I joined TikTok and I follow 9 people and I love it. I love that I follow 9 people. I follow a couple powerlifters, one of whom posts recipes that I like. I follow my cousin Sarah. Shout out to my cousin Sarah for her hysterical TikTok. She's
her TikTok?
amazing. Let me look. I
You're
also
going to do a
follow,
shout out. You got to give her the
I know,
TikTok.
right? Gotta get her a couple followers. She has a lot of followers already. I follow Alex Earl. I stand by that one. I don't know why I love her so much, but so
Is this Alex Earl? Is that the girl that does like the
who
getting
just
ready?
yeah, she just posts videos of herself putting makeup on, and it's entrancing. And she parties too much, but you're just like rooting for her. Yeah, I don't get it. I think it's probably some sort of Chinese experiment to make middle-aged women obsessed with a recent college grad. But
Is it that like you are? Is it a proxy thing? Like you're
no,
reliving
she's just no, not at all. She's just really likable. She's just a likable.
So it's not you like, oh, I remember back when.
No.
Okay.
So my cousin is Sarah, and it's SAR, a bunch of U's, and then GH. So like Sarah. She's got 76.5 thousand followers.
Wow.
I think her major claim to fame was she found an obscure murder mystery book in an old timey bookshop, and it went viral. and they had to reprint copies of it because it sold out everywhere
Because of
after
her.
she posted on TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, this TikTok about it has 6.7 million views.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Legit. Well
So
done,
I
Sarah.
like my TikTok because I have my like 11 people. It's like one.
Yeah, I thought it was 9.
Like, oh, see, I did unfollow 2 people yesterday.
Oh,
That's
okay.
correct. I like to keep it tapered. So I follow this grammar lady who just
Of course you do.
yeah, who gives grammar tips. Alex Earl, my cousin. Yeah. So, anyways, I like my social media to have like different areas of focus. So, Threads does not appeal to me because why do I want it? Like, I already have.
If you already have the
that's for-
Instagram,
Yeah.
the same people.
Yeah, and it's just words now.
No, there's pictures and videos.
So, how is that different than Instagram?
I don't know.
But isn't this always how it goes, right?
Yeah.
Where they change something and you're like, this is not right. What's the purpose? Mark Zuckerberg, and then
And
eventually
then
you're
everybody
like,
does it,
yeah.
and everybody loves it.
I don't know.
I'm still not on TikTok, so I can't speak to that.
I actually feel like TikTok has some use.
Well, yes, it does. The Chinese need it to be able to spy on all of us.
Yeah. Well, if they're spying on me through TikTok, they're not learning anything good. that I'm worried about how to do makeup over 40 because the big 40 is this August. So
Yeah. So we need to do a big blowout for your birthday. The thing about your birthday this year is that it's the first day of Reagan's school, so that kind of puts a damper on doing a big, huge party.
yeah. And I think I have a microblading appointment that day too. So, like I said, super into self-care. I do not shy away from taking care of myself. And
Then you shouldn't, that's
microblading
fine.
is like a very important
That's a big thing,
piece of my life.
is it?
Yeah.
All right. Well, so we have over the last few months gotten really into powerlifting. We've joined or we've signed up for a powerlifting competition in October. What I know that maybe I've asked you this because you know me, I just go along with whatever you want.
I'm so excited for this question. What is powerlifting?
What is it that we're doing? Because I just follow you. No, why? I mean, what? Because I don't. I mean, you. One day you're like, oh, we need to start powerlifting. I'm like, okay.
So I would say my fitness journey is very much like an evolution, and that's not to say that the things I did in the beginning are bad and now what I'm doing is good. It's just I am a scannel and we change interests often.
Hopefully not husbands.
No, scannels are pretty good.
Pretty loyal.
Yeah. But as far as like hobbies and interests and occupations go, I'm talking mostly about my dad. Like our flame burns real bright and it burns real fast. So when I go for something, like I go hard and then I am disgusted by it. So fitness for me started, how it is. And I ran in college, which is ridiculous. It, for me, for my body, does not work. Eventually found my way to bar, Pilates first, then bar, added in yoga. And then when I was pregnant with Vincent, we started doing HIIT classes at Body. And I had originally been like very negative about heavy weights. I was definitely conditioned from the bar and the Pilates world that you don't need to lift heavy weights. And then, I don't know, kind of randomly decided to go take Body. And then after Vincent, when I was doing my like rehabilitation and just dealing with like all the changes in your body after having a kid, it included more traditional like weightlifting stuff. And then it sort of piqued my interest. And I remember saying to somebody, a friend from like the bar and yoga world, like, oh, I actually like really want to go lift weights at the gym today. And lift weights at that point meant like 15 pounds, no more.
Right.
And I was like, mark my words, a year from now, I'll probably doing like heavy weightlifting. So and I was saying that completely like, because I thought that was ridiculous. I don't know. One day I just decided I wanted to learn how to deadlift. I don't know why.
Really?
So I signed up for like a free session with a personal trainer, and I told him I wanted to learn. It was Dylan, and I told him I wanted to learn how to weightlift or how to deadlift. And he's like, "How's your nutrition?" I'm like, "I don't want to talk about that." Like, I just want to
show me how to deadlift.
Yeah, I'm like, we can do lower body. Like, that's all I want to do. I just want to know how to deadlift and like squat.
So did you do a session with him, and then I joined on?
Yeah, I did a couple with him. I said I wanted to like focus on deadlifting and squats. I don't know how I chose that. And then eventually I was like, why not throw bench press in there and just have the big 3 and then be a power lifter?
Well, I didn't even know that's what powerlifting competitions have. I mean, because what little I knew about...
You know that now, right?
I do.
Okay.
I know that powerlifting competitions are deadlift, squat, and bench press.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what is the Olympic lifting.
No.
That's the
that's a totally different thing.
Totally different thing. And it makes no sense to me. But
why doesn't it make sense to you?
Well, I mean, why isn't powerlifting a part of the Olympic thing? Why is it clean and press?
I have no idea how they decide what goes into the Olympics. I literally watched a trampoline routine the other day.
I can't believe trampolines in the Olympics. I don't know what that... I don't know when that happened.
I don't know either. I don't know. I don't know how they decide what goes in the Olympics.
So the powerlifting journey
I think
for us,
Olympic weightlifting, I feel like I was Googling it yesterday. I think it might be on its way out, maybe?
Oh, really?
That
seems
might be made up.
Strange, because that's got to be something that's been there a long time, right?
For like since 1920 or something like that.
Oh, I was thinking back. The first Olympics, back when the Greeks did it.
Yeah, I think Rogue sponsored them. They gave the barbells. I don't know. I'll have to look up. I thought I saw something about.
So the powerlifting has been a very interesting experience for me. Mm-hmm. I don't know if it's been interesting for you. I am super impressed by how strong you are. And you do get a lot of compliments from a lot of people at the gym. I've noticed that people
I did get one this week, so I don't know that I'd call it a lot.
No, it's more than one person. One person this week.
Name another one.
There's been David, Mr. Tattoo Guy. I mean, it's just, so there's just a lot of, to me, it feels pretty amazing to be able to lift big, heavy weights. Mm-hmm. I feel like, I've clearly gotten stronger. Mm-hmm. What's the evolution beyond this? Have you thought about what comes after?
Well, I am perpetually surprised by the things I find myself into. So whatever it is next,
I was shocking. If you haven't noticed, I like to try to make things everything about me that you do, right?
And he's really hoping I give him a compliment. I never will. The more Sean fishes, the more it falls on deaf ears. But I would be, right now, the way I look at Olympic weightlifting, I'm like, no, never. And when I say that, I'm like, so probably soon.
Oh, so Olympics the next one.
Well, that feels like the next thing, or CrossFit.
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Sometimes I look at those people the women that do CrossFit, and I'm like, I don't know. Or my best friend was watching a show, Beastmaster or something. It's like American Ninja Warrior, and she texted me, "You would be good at this," and I was like, oh, that's the best compliment anybody has ever paid me ever. And I watched the show. And so I decided, actually, like, American Ninja Warrior is something I've had in the back of my head. But the older I
Really?
get, the more out of reach that becomes. Because, like, the other day I was trying to do toes to bar at Body, and I was like, wow, this does not feel good for my low back. So
American Ninja Warrior.
yeah, you know, like,
I mean, I know what it is. I'm just kind of.
I've always
I'm now
been
like
so
dreading when you say, "Hey, Sean, let's go to this,"
yeah, I've always been
and I'm going to
so
go. Okay,
fascinated.
honey, I'm on my way.
Yeah. But then, like, with powerlifting, you ended up way better than me. So maybe you'll be a superstar that way. That's
don't think
actually
so.
what made me decide to sign up for the powerlifting meet. I was watching you, like, one of the first sessions with Dylan. I was like, I'm sure I kept it to myself because I don't love complimenting you. I don't want your head to get too big. But I was like, damn, he's like really strong. And I don't think he's anywhere near his actual potential. Like, you took to it really quickly, deadlifting and stuff.
Yeah. Well, the deadlifting I felt pretty good about.
Yeah.
I guess
I did
having really big thighs and a big butt helps, right?
Well, then you'd think I'd be lifting a lot more weight, but
You do lift a lot.
but so that's what is next for me. Like, I guess it's going to be Olympic weightlifting, CrossFit, or I'm gonna, I don't know,
Go Ninja Warrior.
Yeah, that would be the dream, man.
Huh.
Maybe by the time I'm 50, do you think they have like an over 50?
I'm sure they do.
Ninja Warriors?
I'm sure they do. They've got over 50
I mean, that would
because,
be like a true life, like,
I mean,
bucket list.
I'll tell you why there's over 50 everything. Because Gen X, my generation, is competitive. They've been, they're after the boomers, before the millennials. They feel like they're left out. So they're just creating stuff to keep themselves relevant. So there's now.
Since you can't win a presidential
Right,
race.
Exactly. Since we can't be president, you know. So,
Yeah. That is like, that would be, you know how you want to write a book? I guess this is one of those things, like, man, I would freaking love to be able to do like Ninja Warrior stuff.
All right.
I'd love it.
Well, there we have it.
Definitely doing the wrong thing right now because powerlifting couldn't be farther from that. But
There you go. Thank you,
so
Robin.
you're saying there's a chance. All right,
All right.
dude. Sign
So I guess
me
what we're
up.
doing. I guess that's what we're doing next.
I mean, can you? It's so cool.
I mean, I need to go back and look and see what exactly it is because I feel like I'm going to
Maybe
get
I should do
hurt.
CrossFit first. CrossFit feels like a good segue. Like powerlifting, CrossFit, Ninja Warrior.
Okay.
I don't know if you are listening and you are Ninja Warrior or Ninja Warrior adjacent. Can you please contact us? I need a trainer.
Let us know.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I guess we'll have to check in with you in the coming months to see how that's going.
Yeah. Well, we have our meet in October, so I'm
So it'll be after that.
not deviating from the powerlifting plan until then.
Okay. Well, all right. Well, thanks for being on.
Thanks for having me.
It's always a pleasure. I'm sure we'll have you on again soon.
All right.
Great. All right. Thanks, everybody. Take care.